to welcome all the folks and to hear from them actually. We have great speakers, and this is covering three more categories: fashion, lifestyle, jewelry, electronics. So let me start first with Sangeeta Mobile. Subhash sir, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. I'm Subhash Chandra here, and this is my son Chendu here. I have to get into another meeting, so I was just telling him, could you, represent Sangeeta? But anyway, since we were late, so I can be here for 5 minutes before I move on. And
Uh, sure, Subhashji. Subhashji, sir, first of all, it's a pleasure to have you here. So, and if I remember it right and correctly, you have approximately 650 plus stores and across India, and 2021, the way the challenge is moving forward, uh, how are you planning for 2021? You have also offer great services like a 3-hour delivery, 2-hour delivery models. So how do you see 2021?
well, 2021 is all about 2020 itself made us fast forward on the digital front, and though I should say that we are learning every day, and we are in the process, and there's a lot more to pull ourselves up. Yes, we have been getting this part of e-commerce in place, and we have been, most of the orders we have been able to deliver in less than 1 hour, and we are getting a very delighted rating from our customers. But yes, still the number of customers that you are able to draw to your site and the number of conversions that you are able to get is the challenge, and that is something which we are learning every day, every minute.
Okay. Subhashi, just want to ask one more thing, is you're getting into appliances as well, if I hear it right. So how do you see this diversification as well as the entire expansion plan?
Well, see, this is something which is, I come from appliances and consumer durable background. Sangeeta started off in 1974 as a small appliances showroom, much before televisions and white goods and brown goods came into being in 80s and 90s. We started off as a small home appliances store. So, and then we were selling televisions and everything. So it is not new to us, but having said that, I never ever dreamt that I would once again go back to selling televisions and all these things. It is a necessity that is making us get in there. It's a connected world, and we are living in an era where each appliance talks to each other, and everything is smart today. So therefore, the beyond the smaller screen, we have to get into the bigger screen, which is the smart TVs, and we are having to start newer products like the Dysons of the world, and and if the consumer electronics guys were forced to start mobile phone business, so in a way we are also forced to get into consumer electronics business. Yes, we are treading cautiously and slowly. There is just by placing the stocks, business won't happen. You need much larger stores firstly, and you need a different skill set for the guys at the store. Yes, we are learning. We are starting slowly.
Great, Subhashi. Subhashi, if you can stay on the panel for some more time, it will be great. I have some more questions for you.
Yeah, sure.
I won't let you.
Anyways, my son, he's taking care of the e-commerce part of the business. So he will also answer a few, and I'll also stay for a few more minutes. Yeah.
Sure. Suraj, it is good to have you here on the panel, and I have all very distinguished folks, and Suraj, Mr. Pawan from Happy Mobiles, and Naveen, and Mr. R. Satish from Weber Jewels. So Suraj, you formed, if I'm not wrong, and if my memory serves me correct, it's been 82 years ago you were formed in Coimbatore in 1939. Am I correct? And there are 12 to 13 plus stores so far. Am I correct?
Hi, Mr. Tapan. Yes, that's right.
Great. And it's been fantastic to see that how you've grown and how you've evolved with the times. In the current time, also in the last 1 year, you've seen the time go fast forward, and the channel mix must have changed for you. So what are the things you have been seeing, and especially from an omni-channel perspective, how do you see 2021?
So at the outset, Mr. Tapan and all other colleagues from the retail fraternity, very nice to get connected on this platform. We'll always look forward to being in Bombay at the Renaissance Center every year in the last week of February for the retail conference. This year we are virtual, but it's still great to connect. Actually, I think I really like what you said in your presentation, Mr. Tapan, about this omni-channel. Before, people were thinking of it as a vitamin tablet, but now it has become like a painkiller tablet. So I think COVID and the entire pandemic, how it shaped up, and the consumer behavior after that has really accelerated this sort of digital effort. And I think we took it up we took it up well before COVID in terms of having the omni-channel presence. I think we were looking at options how we can bring in the digital strategy to really augment our offline retail. Offline retail being our forte, we wanted to bring in the digital marketing and the digital and the e-commerce side of it to really drive more footfalls into the stores, as well as give the customer an option to buy online if it's more convenient for them. So we actually took up a few initiatives we've taken up on the front end in the retail stores itself, wherein we did these virtual trial sort of concepts. We made the iPad app, which can be used to access our complete design universe and virtually try on the product. We had a few good customer responses on that initiative. Then another one that we've done is also we've taken up to make our entire design universe available for the customer to browse at a single location. So that's something also that we had fairly good sort of feedback about, because always, in terms of store assortment, I think the customer is always looking for more. So then beyond what's physically available, what else is there is always a question. So I think we wanted to fulfill that requirement of theirs. I think anything further you would like me to talk about, Mr. Tapan?
Yes, actually, Mr. Suraj, I tried your virtual try-on. I like that, and it is also by appointment. So, and especially the aspect of the mobile app or a tab app that you talked about, because generally, especially in your industry, having the knowledge of each of the pieces, the weights and the stones, etc., is very important for clienteling. That is very, very correct. And also what you talked about is having the assortment, because the customer wants always endless assortment. So if you want to prioritize these, because you talked about a couple of innovations on the front end, couple of them on the back end as well. So what has been on top priority, and how do you see them giving you a better leverage in 2021? If you can expand on that, okay, these by these initiatives you expect an X percentage change, something like that, if you can put a number to it.
Yeah, so I think very valid point. I think right now what's becoming more important is the e-commerce platform. What we thought before is that, in jewelry industry, as it is, e-commerce is about, 0.5% of the total retail pie and things like that. In jewelry industry, it was even lower at about 0.2. But then I think with the pandemic, the customers became much more adaptable for buying online, which has seen a strong growth in the e-commerce portfolio. And we see that happening across in India as well as in our US operations. So e-commerce portal is going to be a priority to grow that and to really make that e-commerce storefront much more fortified and agile to adapt for the customer requirements.
Fantastic. Let me just move from jewelry category to jewelry category. Hello, Mr. R. Satish. How are you? It's a pleasure to speak to you. You're on mute, sir.
Is it audible?
Good to connect with you, sir. And if I'm not wrong, if my memory serves me correct, you were formed in 1994, headquartered at Visakhapatnam. And if I'm not wrong, approximately 11, 12 plus stores reaching on to 15. Am I correct, sir?
Yeah. 14 showrooms we have. Yeah.
Great, sir.
Spread over in Andhra and Telangana. Yes.
Wonderful, sir. I just want to check with you, Mr. Satish, how do you see 2021 and what are the key things which you faced in the last 10, 11 months, and how have you prepared for the next or 2021 and beyond?
2021, yeah, everybody had gone through that first 6 months. It was a tough call. So we operated fully, basically in the sense like we didn't cut the staff. So what we did is we cut the salaries to some extent and made everybody work so that they're not out of job and all those things, so that they are taken care of the basic necessities and this thing. And from September, October, things have changed. But luckily, what we thought about e-commerce in 2018-19, that was a good initiative, what we thought. And luckily, that helped us in keeping our foot stand. And we have grown literally in e-commerce platform almost 3x we did in the 2021 space. So that was a good move, what we did, an initiative. So that's what the thing is. And click to brick, like literally, everybody is on the click. Literally, everybody is doing that part of it, and everybody is coming to the website in different ways, different modes, different social media platforms, and all those things. And that is what happened. We connected the entire e-commerce to the live inventory, so that anybody can access any stock anytime, and they can come on live chat or chatbot or whatever it is, and then they can converse. And we have the video, like what Suraj was mentioning. The same thing we also have. Live inventory model and try-ons and everything, so that customers are happy. And then we are doing that, it goes to the nearby retail showroom, so that they can take the delivery either by the relatives or on their own, which also tell them that they are not paying the delivery cost also. So we are working on such models so that customers are happy at the end of the day. And things are changing.
Fantastic. As you've already and very progressively called out all the newer channels, then let me get into the product mix. As I see that there is gold, diamond, there is gold coins, gift cards, etc. So which are the ones which you see moving better on e-commerce platforms, and which do you see physically better moving from stores?
Frankly, when we started e-commerce platform, we thought of this smaller budget, 20, 30, 40,000 only will move. But afterwards, we realized it's adding additional inventory and additional cost for us. Then we changed the model, slowly we changed the approach from 2019 onwards, saying that no, instead of investing those, why not we connect the livestock inventory? So like any customer can see everything, like 20,000 item, the 10 lakh item, or the 50 lakh item, anything they can browse and they can see, they can have a live thing. If they want to feel in the store also, they can come. So that has made us change the entire perspective. That has helped us in 2020 panic situation. And literally our average billing was almost 40 to 50 grams we are doing normally, standard sale. On an average, a live e-commerce platform, we are doing that sort of a sale, 40 to 50 grams sale. So that has become a good business model. And I thought, okay, it might increase in the days to come.
That's very fantastic. And thank you for sharing the insights. Yeah. Naveen, let me just switch over to you. And I'm a big fan of P.N. Rao. So my compliments to you. How do you see, because you are a very, very specific, custom stuff for the customer. So how do you see 2021 move forward, and what are the plans?
Absolutely, the same as what other people are, on the panel have mentioned right now. And we have actually implemented our e-commerce site about 3-4 years ago. But, unfortunately, we had to bring it down because we had a lot of challenges, particularly in terms of discipline, and we had very less depth in our inventory. So most of the time we run out of inventory, and then if the customer kind of selected the product and he wanted to come and pick it up the store, by the time he came to the store, the product was not available. So we had all those challenges, and that's why we kind of discontinued the e-commerce. But having said that, when during the pandemic, for the first 4 months, when we introduced WhatsApp shopping and video call shopping and all that, we actually saw a lot of traction in the first, from between May to September. But post-October, we haven't made even a single sale on WhatsApp. So everybody is now traveling and coming back. to buy on offline. So we have a lot of challenges for us. Firstly, we're a relationship-based brand. Two is touch and feel is a huge part of our process. Fitting and trial is another requirement that a lot of people want. So now we've put up a new strategy in place whereby we try to first not offer all the inventory. We're going a little reverse from what Mr. Vaibhav Jewelry has done. So we're going to offer only our core inventory so that we don't run out of inventory, that we have some depth in, and that will be available. And we're going to look at having an option of where if the customer wants to touch and feel, we can be able to send him a courier sample to him in short time. And as far as the fit is concerned, we're working with a measurement app person, but we haven't reached a stage of 100%, not even 85%. So I think once we be able to give him more data, we will be able to get up to a stage of 85%, which I feel should be enough for us to get the fit right, using our knowledge on the fitting that we're able to offer. So I think going forward, definitely if we implement this and have our exposure in 2-tier towns as well, because right now we are available only in major cities. So we need to look at having a small presence, if not the entire larger presence in smaller 2-tier cities as well. So that in terms of a strategy is going to be very important. Presence in 2-tier cities, tier 2 cities, and also having a robust e-commerce, even though as difficult it may sound for us, it's very important that we get that done. So that's my thought process, and where as P&L stands for e-commerce. And
Sure. Naveen, fantastic gems of inputs. And from when, let's say, the conversational commerce improved and you were able to connect them through conversational commerce, was it bot-based? Was it live person-based? Were you using any analytics for providing a next best action or guessing a next best action, that this could be the next best action for a customer? Were you using something like that?
Yeah, so what we did was, now for example, let us say if I have your database and you had bought a shirt earlier with us. So I know that you have bought 6 shirts, 7 shirts with me already, and I already have a data of what kind of product you bought with me. I have that. So I make a WhatsApp presentation to you because I have your number with me, and I make a WhatsApp presentation with items that I know that fit you already. So you're my existing client. So I send images of what I think that you would like to you. So it's a packaged WhatsApp message to you. So maybe about 10 shirts saying that, hey, listen, this is available in your size 42. You can pick it up. And then for my tailor-made customers, if you had already bought a shirt with us or a trouser with us, I send him on similar lines, just a swatch of fabric saying that I already have your measurements with me, so I can make it and send it to you. So that worked, but it worked only during that time. So right now the clients are like, listen, everything is fine, I'll come and shop, so why do I have to buy something on WhatsApp? And we did the video call as well. Now, for example, if a client was, for a customer who was going to get married, and let's say he's sitting in Coimbatore or in Mysore, and he was not able to travel to Bangalore, so we did a video call for him to show the product very, in a way that best possible through a call. And we did some serious, decent business through that, but all in that time frame only. Unfortunately, post that, people are traveling now and they say, I'd rather come out and buy it. And unless I don't see that going forward, unless there's another wave, and then that people resort to these things again.
No, actually, you're absolutely correct. There is even if I see myself and the patterns, there is this, because you haven't been able to step out, there's like this revenge stepping out, that you want to step out, you want to explore life in a different way. But also, and the way I see it is that these are two extremes of pendulum. One, you were inside, now you will definitely go outside. But down the line, the shopping will become a mix of both the experiences. Yes. Because what I personally feel about myself is my enemy to shopping is not, or the reason which I shop or anybody else I'm generally seeing a trend is not because of discount. They're doing online shopping because of time.
Yes,
time is a big enemy to, leisurely shop, travel. If you can get a heads up for assortment, or like even if you can get a assortment in a store, you can possibly shop a store first online, and then with a plan, get into that, get your right sizes of jackets, or the choice of lapels, or if they have very specific people to interact with, they can choose that as well on the availability. Fantastic, Naveen, very, very fantastic points, both on analytics as well as integration of customer buying habits. I want to immediately jump to Mr. Pawan. Pawan, how are you?
Hi, Mr. Acharya. How are you? It's happy to meet all the delegates in the forum.
Great. Mr. Krishna Pawan, because your name on the screen is looking from Pawan, that's why I'm addressing you from there. And happy to meet you. If I may expand a little bit more on Happy Mobiles, if I'm not wrong, around 70 plus stores, and founded in 2018 and growing very, very aggressively. Am I correct?
Yeah, the numeric stands good on the front. We started 3 years before. And when we started, we were somewhere around 13th, 14th player in the market. I hope in AP and Telangana today we stood in top 4. And we do a business of almost 1 million customers in a year with a 500 crores of top line.
Fantastic. Mr. Pawan, so how do you see 2021 and how do you plan to have the right channel mix, which is between online and offline? What's your take on that?
Precisely, our segment has become one of the fastest growing as well as need of the hour to every customer. So earlier it was mobile was a luxury product or a customer product which is needed as a fashion element. Today I don't think so. Mobile is no more a fashion element. It's a Dharam, Makan, and mobile is become mandatory. So very fortunate to be in those industry. And coming to 2021 way of action, that lets me bifurcate into 2 ways, AC, BC, before COVID and after COVID. See, after COVID, first 4 months was like a demand, very, very huge demand supply gap was there in this industry because education becomes an online, everything become online. There is a huge amount of spike in the industry, which made us to come out from all the troublesome during the COVID times. So that's number 1. And number 2, on the omni-channel, earlier my overall pie of business comes less than 0.5% on the e-commerce. Now we are very happy to share that this 2021, right now we are at 3% of our monthly turnover comes from e-commerce, and we are actually planning to make it to 5 to 7% in the 2021. And we are in talks with the brands also to make an exclusive products available for our online platform, because our products need a faster delivery, higher specifications, and a better price. So e-commerce is the best place to do all these 3 things. Easy convenience can happen through e-commerce, best price can be demonstrated, and the higher specs can be easily demonstrated on the e-commerce platform. So as a category of mobile, I feel the overall pie is more than 1,000 crores per month for us. So I feel as a year, we have some 20-30,000 crores to be done through online, through Amazon, Flipkart, and everybody. So for our category, we feel there is a bigger channel, bigger chunk of sales can happen on e-commerce. So we are very eagerly, vigorously fighting towards that roles. So WhatsApp played a very good role for us, and we have directly associated with WhatsApp on the customer front, and we have created a predefined catalog to the customer individually, and making sure that sending him on all new rifles with a 1-minute video, because of which we can actually able to explain the specs to him in detail, and he's getting on sale on the go.
That's fantastic. Mr. Pawan, you are also, I have been reading about you, and then by next year you want to expand to 150 stores, if I am right. And then, and also you're talking about online growing very fast. So as Mr. Satish talked about, to have a single assortment across all channels, is there something like that which you're doing? Enlighten us on that, please.
See, we are making a 360-degree view inside the store on the web page also, which is going to be shortly launching for our April in our anniversary, so that the concept of omni-channel as well as offline online is going to be integrated perfectly. With our products, there is actually there is nothing hidden in the product. So our videos of the products as well as the store demonstration are there, as well as delivery of the handset is one and the same. So we want to integrate end to end, and we are going to do the delivery of management, not only handsets, even accessories also. So coming to the point of integration, it's end to end on the one line.
Fantastic, Mr. Pawan. Hi, Mr. Tapan Roy Chaudhary, how are you? we've savored the best questions towards the end for you. You are on mute.
Okay, yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now. So,
Right.
Mr. Khan, you have 30 plus years of experience, and this is across fashion, across lifestyle, across fashion jewelry. So, how do you see the evolution of omni-channel, in 2021, and how is it different in your perspective, just from a multi-channel? Why wouldn't you enlighten with your thoughts on that?
Sure. So, good afternoon, everyone, and great to be a part of this panel discussing omni-channel. So with all the experience that I've come across so far, and omni-channel was pretty misunderstood in the sense that I think I'll stick to a little bit of fundamentals to begin with. While 2021 and beyond definitely looks very promising, better understood and better driven in the form of an omni-channel, but there are certain things which still require clarification, where multi-channel, where if you are there in say WhatsApp, you are reaching out, as Praveen mentioned, Pawan mentioned, and then there is Facebook, and then there is Pinterest and Insta and everything else. What Omni does is basically it fully integrates this entire. It's a fully integrated approach, and it unifies the experience across all channels or touch points. That is what omni-channel does. Now, my experience has been that even when I spoke to my CEO earlier, and we did discuss about this omni-channel aspect, because we were going at forums and we are saying that we are an omni-channel platform, but when you were actually deep diving into it, you were not really doing justice to that. We saw the effects of it. We saw how, I'll tell you, we launched a collection. We went into the Instagram, Facebook, took the product across over there, brought the customers to the store, geotagging was done. So we saw that cycle worked very well, and that's how omni-channel is supposed to work. Okay, but then somewhere down the line we had to keep it intact. So just having one success is not enough. It has to be, it's a 360-degree approach. So it has to be a continuous process. It has to be there. True omni-channel shopping goes beyond brick and mortar locations, to mobile browsing, online marketplaces, social media, and wherever the users browse online through even retargeting ads. So it may be easier to measure single variables with efforts focused, where we've been trying to hear from other brands also over here. But the mobile marketing or the merchandising strategies, unless and until these all are integrated together and the touch points are a holistic approach is not adopted, we will not really be able to get into that omni-channel approach. So there are challenges. If I put there's also math to it, as a matter of fact. So if I have to mention about it, then that math is as simple as the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. You understand? So the omni-channel involves integrating each touch point to offer the customer exactly what they need. So it's a journey. It's a complete journey. It's a holistic approach. Now, what the challenges? What are the challenges where this is not getting integrated? One of them is that within the organization, there's a different language that we speak. Okay, which is where you get a little disintegrated. Different functions have their own priorities. Their KPIs are different. So integrating them becomes a challenge. That's one. Lack of customer analytics is also something which I felt, where the data that we are capturing. Now, for example, if I say that returns, okay, the reasons of returns do not get captured properly, and that's how you are not able to analyze what is going wrong, or rather, which are the areas that you can correct yourself, which are the areas where your omni-channel has to, take its right shape. Then you have there are silos within an organization which will work independently. Not the left hand will not talk to the right hand. We have, I've been witness to that kind of a scenario. I am sure a lot of people on the panel would also, understand that because that happens.
Correct, Mr.
Data, there's a plenty of data available. There's no dearth of data, but it's in a very poor form. You have to sit and slice and dice. I can challenge that you get hold of your data and ask them to data guy and ask them to give you a single sheet, pointer of to get a crux of what you have asked for. It is going to be a challenge. And then, of course, there is inability to identify customers across the shopping trips, which puts up a huge challenge. It's never an easy task to map them at various channels. Like Praveen just mentioned that when during the lockdown, Naveen just mentioned that during the lockdown process, WhatsApp worked very well, but as soon as things started getting normalizing, people, they also wanted more and more people to walk into their stores and have a touch and feel kind of an experience. So integrating them into bringing them into the store is also something which omnichannel does. So that aspect, these limiting factors is what would basically try and challenge the omni-channel aspect. I mentioned to you about Voila, the way we had done it, and we've got a taste of it also. Let me also mention another brand. It's a Costa Rican brand called Pura Vida bracelets. Some of you may have heard of it or may not. So these two guys from California, they went for a holiday, and they came across this bracelets where artisans were making them. They were in a tough situation to make ends meet, and these guys made about 100 odd bracelets, took it along with them, sold it over there, and that's how this entire process began.
Couple of gems. I'll just wanna, and I would just wanna expand on those gems. Coming to Sangeeta Mobile once again, and as just Tapan called out, that there are important aspects behind the margin mathematics, the money you spend there. For getting the site traffic there, the money will get logged up with getting the right assortment in place. There is logistics cost, there is returns. So how have you been able to, or what are the key areas, a couple of points you want to really polish, or you want all folks to pay a lot of attention to ensure that the omni-channel strategies remain profitable? Over to Sangeeta Mobile. You're on mute.
Hi to all. I'm Chandu, and my father was unable to make it here in news for any longer. So just to touch upon, I think great points by Tapanji there, and a lot of things I think I need to separately catch up with you, and a lot of things to discuss. But apart from that, to your question, Acharya, what you were saying is, see, everybody knows each field is different, and I think we all were somewhere walking in a dark room before the COVID with our omni-channel, with our online initiatives and journey. But somewhere, thanks to COVID coming in, for many of us, it was like a kick on the back. We just leapfrogged. If not, finally the results have shown in the what customers can see, but at least in terms of what are the right things to do, and definitely there are a lot more ideas on the table, and the involvement, like there are a lot of departments working in silos. We used to face that problem earlier as well, but not anymore. While I also agree with Naveen saying that during the COVID was when we saw all the use of the WhatsApps and the omni-channel, the video calling, etc. Now we don't see that. But having said that, see, we have to propel it. The customers today, they think of Amazon as the best because there's nothing better than it. Now, Nykaa carved a niche out of
Amazon. You can buy beauty products on Amazon as well, but you don't want to go to Amazon anymore because Nykaa has got the entire ecosystem of buying beauty products much better than Amazon. Now you buy a box on Amazon, you buy a mobile phone on Amazon, you buy a beauty product on Amazon, everything is listed in the same way. There is no difference. They look at themselves as a technology platform. They don't look at themselves as that specialist for any category there. Today, at the max, they will focus on mobile phones because majority of their GMV is coming up from there. So what I'm trying to say is you have to carve your niche and you have to improve things. eBay was there always, but it is out of when the time was right, when the entire economy, entire population came together. That's when I downloaded an Amazon app and I started shopping on Amazon. And then with the usage, even the partners started improving the things that had to be corrected. So likewise, today, with the given small amount of video call facility that is there, WhatsApp was not made for this. It is convenient for a customer. It is super handy for a customer to have WhatsApp. Hence, we try to do some business on WhatsApp also. Yes, there is a WABA, which we also have gotten a partnership with WhatsApp, but that is more of communication. WhatsApp has still not made its platform itself for a video transaction to take place. If they decided to, then the experience will be much better. That's what I'm talking about. The experience, if WhatsApp thinks about it, will be very beautiful. But the experience is not made there yet. So if we try to use the little tools that are there right now today, yes, as Mr. Naveen said, the experience is not great. So the people would rather say, chalo, leave this, I'll come to your store itself. But if we give up, that will never come forward. For example, as in my childhood, I have come from a time where I had to go to the salon on my own, wait there if there was somebody, if the seats were occupied, and then take the seat. But in the same life of mine itself, today I can't think of going to a salon without an appointment. How did that culture change happen? We were taken like puppets through the culture change that the brands thought of getting in. It is all influenced. We all got influenced. TikTok, I never wanted to use it. It was peer pressure that I got into it. Now that I'm on TikTok, I'm addicted to it, and then I'm taken through that. So I say that similarly, there needs to be a body of, probably has to bring in one video calling platform for a customer to sit at home and transact. Now imagine the experience of the customer, whether he's buying in Kirtilal's or he's buying in Happy or he's buying in Sangeeta, he's using the single video call platform to talk to any retailer. He will use that more.
Fantastic.
So when customer is there, what is our problem to be there? We have no issue to be there. It is because I have a separate software and I tell my customer, you use this software to talk to me, and then another Kirtilal may use some other software. How many software is the customer going to use? So that is the problem.
Fantastic, Mr. Chandru, and very valid point that you have to push the initiatives to a high level of finesse and initiative and not leave them halfway. I'll move category to category, and Mr. Pawan from Happy Mobile, just want to check with you the entire equation of front end, back end. What are the few things which you want to focus most on in 2021 to ensure that this journey becomes very, very smooth?
To make a seamless experience at the customer point of view, at the store level, on the omni-channel, as well as at the back end, a single ERP works fine with everything. So now, as rightly said with Gautam, customer had many apps on his phone, so it is very difficult for him to have a specialized app for everything. So we made a app which works on WhatsApp, so that the customer, whenever requires a handset, he can just ping on WhatsApp, and then the catalog comes on his phone, so he can just browse it and shop it on the go. And the same integration has been done at the store level, so that as soon as the customer comes, our ambassador speaks to him and says that your order has been already logged in, sir. Here is the packet for you. So he's not even necessary to come inside the store and do all the transactions are there. Everything is done earlier in the WhatsApp itself, and then take it into the store level and take a delivery and move on. So either move on or pick up at the store, as well as online shopping it's all integrated to our ERP in the back end. So there is a big difference between both of us.
Fantastic, fantastic, Mr. Pawan. The way you've talked about a single view of the customer, whether it's online on WhatsApp or in the store, a concept of a universal cart, and in fact for clienteling also, for your people to be able to recognize that customer, and they don't have to recurringly do many steps there. It can all be done online and they can just experience and leave. Fantastic focus. Mr. R. Satish, just want to ask you first, there is the front end aspect, there are apps, there is back end, single assortment view to the entire channels. What are the key things which you would want and guide all of us to focus on for the Omni journey for 2021? Sir, you're on mute.
What we experienced and felt is like if customer is given the complete choice and the customer is given clarity and what we are talking about, whether online, offline, virtual, whichever media what we are talking about, then things are better. Because customer wants that experience. They don't want any disappointments at the end of the day. That's what we learned from the last 2 years with the omni-channel presence and all those things. So when we are clear about what we are talking about, when we are doing the try-on also, we are explaining about details of the product and experiencing and whatever they feel when they come live to the showroom also. If there is no difference, they feel happy. At the end of the day, because we have customers in US, Australia, everywhere. Yeah, those people do try-on and we are sending the package to them. They are happy the moment they receive it. We have so many feedbacks from them that what we explained is what we are giving them. So that is what we believe in, we conceptualized.
This is fantastic, Mrs. Satish, the way you've talked about that, to enable all the channels centered around the customer, and it's up to the choice of the customer, what channel they want to choose it, but they should be able to have a choice.
The customer should be the priority. Let them decide what they want, because everybody is having a good mobile, like Happy Mobile, Sangeeta Mobile, giving everybody good mobile. So we should have the option for them to explore better.
Fantastic. On the same line, Mr. Suraj, what do you want people to focus on from the front and back end aspect?
So what we learned in our omnichannel effort, I think, in the beginning when we were creating the e-commerce platform, we were very confused about what kind of a pricing strategy to follow. Do you keep a price for online buying? Do you keep a price for offline buying? These kind of debates were something that we were having frequently in-house. And then we concluded that the importance of omnichannel is the seamless nature of how it is across channels. So we should have consistency and lack of confusion between online and offline for the customer. So we have a universal pricing policy. It's the same price for the product, whether it is in the store or in the online platform. And the other point on omnichannel that we are trying to address is, building in greater synchronization internally in our organization between what's happening online and what's happening in the store. Because we need to view it from the point of view of the customer. When the customer is discovering information about the brand and about products in different platforms, then the person at the front end in the sales counter also should have that similar information. Otherwise, many times we experienced that the store team is learning from the customer about what all things we are having online. So I think ability to sync internally between online and offline, and having that connect at the retail counter is another very important space that we are trying to improve.
Beautiful point, Suraj. The aspect of a unified pricing, and in fact, you've touched upon aspects of unified promo also. That your promos running online and offline should be the same. It should be the same pricing. It should be the same experience, awareness level of people, and until all the offers, promo, inventory, everything is centered in the same way, and it's agnostic to the channel, it won't be possible. And the same was touched upon by Mr. Tapan Roy also there. Naveen, I want to pick your brains and seek your guidance. That what are the few important points you would want people to focus on in 2021?
See, I think, for us, in order to have a good omni-channel presence, one is the shopping experience, both online, offline, has to be very similar. I mean, maybe 100, if not 100% same, at least 80%. If you're not able to do that, then it's going to be a challenge. So obviously you need to fix that part, the experience part should be almost the same. So that in our business is a challenge. Second thing is the consultants in the store and the back end, they need to have a very high level of discipline because your inventory has to be integrated. So currently what happens is in our store, like, if a suit was priced at 20,000 rupees, for some reason he's not able to scan it, he brings some other product of 20,000 rupees and scans it. Now my inventory is gone for a 6. If the customer comes and picks up that product, then it's gone. So this high level of discipline is very, very important. And also our vendors, our vendors also should have very high level of discipline. Now what I have placed in the purchase order, they have to supply me the same product. Now, because again, the pricing comes and I need to have the image of the same, this imaging is another very important part. The color of the imaging needs to be the same as what, it is. Now, the challenge is again on an Apple screen, it looks different. On a other mobile phone, it looks different. So I'm saying, so if you are able to, obviously, you can't be 100% on all of these things. So we are trying to synchronize and bring this into to a level of at least 80%, and then get this. So, firstly, the shopping experience should be kind of similar to what we have offline and online should be similar. Secondly, the discipline within your own staff and the vendors supplying our goods has to be really top class, so that we don't have any mismatch in inventory which we have faced in the past, and we have to bring down our e-commerce site because of that actually. So
it's a fantastic point, Naveen, because the way you put across, especially like on marketplaces, sometimes you buy a product, but on a brand website, you should be able to shop a look. That if I'm buying this shirt, what jacket goes with this, and what trouser goes with this, and how do I shop an entire look? And you should be able to have, the same experience. Fantastic point. And also the inventory point, which you raised, beautiful point, because unless that discipline is not there, because in online, suddenly many orders can come, hundreds of orders can come online, or for that matter, in a same day delivery, next day delivery, your shipping precision, your timeliness has to be very, very exact. So fantastic point, Naveen, the aspect of discipline and experience both ways. Mr. Tapan Roy, I have some questions for you also, and I can see that there are a couple of questions coming from the audience also. Mr. Tapan, couple of points which you can mention to focus on 2021, and then I'll take audience questions. Sir, you're on mute.
Okay. So I think unanimous, everybody is basically talking about customer experience and retail. That is what retail is all about. It's the experience that we want to give everyone. 4 points I would like to quickly summarize in terms of the areas of focus which I think we should have. One would definitely be inventory visibility. So it's the core of a strong omni-channel approach is what I feel. And just to give an example, I still remember your organization, Arvind, Tapan, your organization, they had hired Goldratt consultants quite some time back. And one of the, amongst many other suggestions, one of the suggestions was that to give inventory visibility, and that by itself had jumped the sales by good 10 to 12% is what I've told. I may be off a little, a couple of percentage points here and there. So inventory visibility is something which definitely is going to be one major aspect. Channel specific processes. Okay. The next flaw businesses fall victim to is focusing on channels independently. So your supply chain needs to be integrated across your own stores, your retailers, online channels, just like, say, for example, somebody mentioned Amazon does. Okay. So the challenge over there comes when I send stocks to my shopping shop format, I have to integrate with that particular store or that particular brand. Okay. The moment I require the same inventory elsewhere, in another channel, I am not able to pull it out from there. I have to again go through a returns, and so it becomes a very cumbersome process. And by the time I've lost a customer somewhere out over there. So a channel specific process is something which might become a little challenging here and there. So that is something which we need to work on. Speed on delivery is something that agility is very important. One of the hardest parts of selling across channels is ensuring speed delivery.
Absolutely.
When a customer buys online, the
Mr. Tapan,
expectation is
very,
that
very
the order has
fantastic
to come
points.
within a few days. And last but not the least would be your ease of returns. That is another aspect which is a pain point, I would say, with a lot of people. That ease of returns is something which, from a customer's point of view and also from a retailer's point of view. That is another. There is a fourth point, which is something which will go a long way towards a good customer experience. Is what I would say.
Fantastic points, Mr. Tapan, and I just want to thank you for bringing this point. At Arvind, across all the brands, be it Arrow, Gap, Sephora, or US Polo, we have a single view of the inventory, of the stores, of warehouse, across all channels together. And so, and all these are lakhs and lakhs of orders processed, and inventory match has to be 100%. The second very important point now, from the stores, Amazon is also fulfilling from the same store. Myntra is also fulfilling from the same store. Flipkart is our own website. Now.com is also fulfilling. The processes, for example, a package of Myntra will go on a Myntra rack. It cannot be placed on an Amazon rack. Otherwise, the logistics guy will get confused. The logistics guy will get into, let's say, stepping into a mall, in a certain paperwork and a certain record required, whether all that is done or not. Absolutely, it's an absolute process, and which is very, very critical. And these processes, actually, everybody feels that the key is in the software, but a larger dependency is on the process, very rightly said. The process transformation, the training aspect of the store is very, very critical. I'm being told it's just about 5 minutes more, so I'll just take a few audience questions, and I'll take one of the questions in any random order.
Acharya, I have a point that I want to raise here for the larger audience, which is slightly, see, we have discussed a lot of things on this call about how individually we have to better ourselves, be more prepared for where the customer is. I guess everybody here is a stalwart, and they're all doing their things in their right, what is required for their business to come up, and nobody needs to tell them better about what is required for their business. But what is bigger problem is beyond us. It's something external, which is in the offline world, in any business, the leader of the market might have 30 plus market share. The second person might have a little lesser than that, and it keeps coming down gradually. But somehow in the online space, take search as an example. Google has 90 plus market share. Take e-commerce, for example. Amazon has the majority market share, at least globally, maybe. And the gap is also becoming wider even in India between Amazon and the number 2. So it's about tomorrow, even if I have done everything right for my firm, especially for brands like Sangeeta, where we are traders, we sell somebody else's product. Now, the other day, I saw a nice shirt. It came as an ad on Instagram. I followed it, went into his website. His website was crappy. It brought me back and forth 3 times, but I still made the 4th attempt and bought it. Why would I do that? Because I like the design. So it doesn't matter much. Whereas for a phone, that is not the case. For a product where you can get it on Amazon, they're ruthless. The customers are ruthless. So what I'm trying to say is, in an MITV, I don't know how many of you all have used an MITV. There's something called a patch wall. It brings in the best of the OTT content in one place. Because it's the same problem. It's the same real estate. And how many apps am I going to go into to check what is the latest short film or the latest movie? I'm not going to do that. It's a very cumbersome process. So if it is just 5 to 6 OTT channels that I'm having this difficulty, imagine the difficulty for the entire e-commerce brands that are there. So what I'm trying to say is we need in our country something like a patch wall, what MI has done, to bring the best of every brand. Now, let's say I wanted to buy a phone today. Trust me, Sangeeta, apart from the browsing ability, can definitely give you, Sangeeta and Happy can give you a much better experience than Amazon. Firstly, because of the speed of delivery, which Amazon can never match. They can never match. Secondly, the experience that we give to the customer at his doorstep of transferring the contacts, of pairing his television and all the other devices, the connected world, which MD was saying. So we'll do all those things for you, which on Amazon cannot even dream. I can do a video call with you and help you choose a phone before you buy. But who is the one who's going to explain all these things to a customer? I can do my marketing, but I'm calling on this webinar for Rai to maybe help us bring about another website like a Patchwall. You know about price comparison websites, right? What are they doing? They're telling you that this website has this price, this website has this price, but they're only talking about the price. Why not a bit more than that, saying that this product will be available to you in this many hours? Something like what the Google LIA can do.
Absolutely. And I'm just being told on the chat that, and Mr. Chandu, absolutely excellent thought, that I have about a minute to go and then the platform will shut itself. You're absolutely right. And on Forbes, there is an article written that what are the 7 things to do for online competition. And one of the points which you said from an experience standpoint is absolutely correct. Another ones are sustainability, supply chain logistics, kind of retail presence, kind of digital growth, traffic outflow, and customer focus. You're absolutely calling it. Or anybody else. Amazon is also a partner to us, so are all of you folks. So to compete in the online world, there are 7-8 guiding principles. I recommend you should do that. I see Bhumika is back on the screen. And I'm sorry, I was not able to take any questions from the audience. We ran out of times. But my big thank you to all you folks. Big thank you to everyone, Mr. Suraj, Mr. Tapan, Mr. Chandu, Mr. Thank you very much for having this discussion.